What's up, guys? We've got Marcelo Garcia versus JT Torres. We're going to look at one of Marcelo's signature moves, the dummy sweep, which he uses to go from seated guard to wrestle up into a beautiful single leg and take down a very talented and athletic opponent. So, what I hope with this video, we're going to analyze it, break it down into some actionable steps, and hopefully you can hit this on your training partners and make them feel like dummies, because it is a very simple move, as the name suggests, but it is clearly highly effective. So let's slow this down and let's get stuck in. So the first big thing to note here is Marcelo is playing seated guard, JT is passing on his feet. So we need our partner to be passing on their feet for this move to be effective. The second thing to call out is what we can see is Marcelo is going to be creating a lot of pressure from the bottom by doing a couple of things. The first thing, he's going to be shooting his feet to the inside position and looking to find JT in this square stance when his feet are parallel. The second thing is he's using these 2-on-1 grips to push and pull JT to get these reactions. So if he pulls him in, he's going to step forward. As he pulls in, JT is going to try and pull back. And ultimately what he's really trying to do is open up that space between the legs and find these scenarios where JT is in this square stance. And also ideally find these scenarios where JT's weight is more in his heels than his toes, because that's going to suggest his weight's going backwards. And you're going to achieve that if you're pulling on someone and they resist, so they pull back, so they're leaning their weight back, and more if their weight's going into their heels, because that's going to give us the conditions we need to hit this dummy sweep. So Marcelo's tracking. The other thing you can see, look where his eyes are. His eyes are looking at his feet, because that's going to be one of the most important things to have awareness of to hit this sweep successfully. So he's tracking, he's playing around with this 2-on-1 grip. Okay, JT says, I've had enough. He strips the grip, he steps back. JT is going to re-engage, and as we can see, he's going to take a staggered stance. So as a passer, a staggered stance is going to be better than a square stance, because this rear foot is going to give you a base of support. If they try and send your weight backwards, it's going to enable you not to fall over, basically. Whereas if you're in a square stance, if someone gives you a big push backwards, you're going to have to take a big step backwards to catch yourself. And if they've got a block behind your feet and they push you backwards, like that classic schoolyard trip, then you're going to go backwards. So we can see here now, Marcelo is looking to re-engage. Okay, JT comes in, he tries to do a little sidestep. He's trying to decide what to do. Marcelo's looking. He's seen the square stance. Okay, so in this scenario, he didn't create the square stance himself with the push and pull of the 2-on-1. JT has momentarily stepped into that square stance, and Marcelo's capitalized on that opportunity because he was looking, and that's what he was waiting for. And I think that's one big thing to note with this dummy sweep. Timing is everything. When you see the opportunity, you have to go for it. The other big things to note here is he's got his left hand posted for a base of support, and his right hand is going to be pushing on the shoulder here, as a way to send JT's weight back into his heels. He's done like a little hip jump forward, and he's shooting his feet to the inside position. Let's now see carefully, I'll slow this down a little bit. Let's really see what he does with his feet here. So he jumps in. Okay, so a couple of things I want to call out here. Number one, this left foot is simply acting as a hook and a block behind this right leg of JT. But can you see this left leg of JT is actually airborne? So, and this is something I learned from Gordon Ryan's Seated Guard DVD. This right leg has actually done a foot sweep. So Marcelo has hooked behind his left leg and he's kicked outwards in the direction of JT's toes towards the wall. Now, what this does in conjunction with this right arm pushing on the shoulder and this left arm blocking is it gives a double push backwards. So the shoulder's getting pushed and the leg being lifted sends the weight back into JT's hip there. So in summary, it's got this double action effect and it's going to send JT's weight backwards. As you can see though, even with all of that being executed by the GOAT himself, Marcelo, an athletic opponent like JT Torres is not going to go down without a fight. So despite that, he's landed on his knee, he's posting, he's getting ready. Ultimately in his mind, he's thinking, I don't want to go down. I don't want to concede bottom position. I don't want to get swept. So he's fighting until the bitter end. But as you can see, Marcelo has focused his attention on this one right leg, which is now weightless, because we can see JT's posting in his right hand, all his weight's in his knee and his foot here. And this weightless leg gives us the opportunity to do one of two things. Number one, wrestle up to a single leg. So anytime you want to take someone down with a single leg, you need to have that attacked leg weightless. We do that by either lifting it up over our shoulder, up to our hip line, and running the pipe or doing whatever other finishing preference we have. Or the other option that Marcelo has is he could sit back and scoot his hips into this inside position between the legs and enter single leg X or some form of leg entanglement on this right leg. So as we know in this scenario, Marcelo chooses to wrestle up. He switches to this gable grip just around the knees. He drives his shoulder into the hip pocket. There's no base of support for JT Torres over his left hip here. And so Marcelo just needs to drive his hip and keep running around towards the wall to take him down with this beautiful single leg and end up in top position. So there you have it. That's the dummy sweep. Hopefully you learned something and hopefully you can make a fool out of some of your training partners. Have a good one.